Hey, how's it going? Welcome to my channel. My name is Albert, and in this channel, usually I talk about how much money I am making or losing selling Tesla puts. In this video, I also want to talk a little bit about some ideas I have for my channel, and let's get into it. So, here's a screenshot of the portfolio I have in terms of put selling of Tesla. These first two puts right here, the 283.33, 286.67, I've been holding those for a while. You'll see that there's 3 of each because of the stock split, and this is why the numbers are all funny. And I was on vacation last week, and during vacation, I was like telling to my wife, hey, wouldn't it be cool if I sold some calls and I made $1,000 and we came home and we were $1,000 richer, we got some of that vacation for free. And she was like, yeah, that's cool. And I was like, awesome. And then I ended up losing $2,000. So yeah, didn't work out. But the reason I sold these calls, I sold 3 calls at 296.67. If you multiply that by 3, it goes to 890, and that's actually how much I got assigned at that put. So I basically bought 100 shares of Tesla at 890. So I figured I would sell 300 shares of Tesla at 296.67. Click the $1,000 premium for that. That's where we're at right now. So it's in the negative right now because Tesla kept running up after I sold that call. So I could have just waited, until today to sell that call and made $3,000 instead of $1,000, and not lose $2,000. But hey, you don't know the future sometimes, and you just gotta do what you feel like is right. So that's what happened right now. So I'm down on that trade, and it's not a good look for me. However, I don't think it really matters because I think at some point it's gonna come back down. So I'm gonna sell puts on this when it comes back down. Hope that makes sense. And yeah, I have a short-term thesis here, and the reason I'm selling calls is because my short-term thesis is that we are in a bull trap. I am convinced that the market is going to crash after the election. I watched a video from Clear Value Tax, and he talks about why he thinks the market will crash after the election, and he convinced me. And in this video, there's really 3 things he said. One is that we've been releasing $1 million of oil a day from our reserves. America has been. And that's going to stop on October 31st, right? And that's the reason why you saw oil prices come down, is because we're actually releasing oil from our reserves, which is something that we should be adding to, right? So once we stop doing that, we're going to start adding oil to our reserves, and that's going to actually increase demand rather than increase supply, which will cause the price of oil to go up, which I think will lead to a greater chance of a recession. Another thing he mentions is that student loan payments have been paused for a period of time now, and they're gonna it's gonna become unpaused on January 2023, and that's not gonna start again. That's what the administration has said. And the biggest thing that he mentioned is the Fed Reserve has mentioned that they're going to start quantitative tightening, but they haven't been doing what they've said they were going to do in like July, August, June. And he thinks that it's going to start up after the election, because after the election happens, there's really no reason to prop the economy up anymore. And they really got to start, trying to fight inflation, right? So for those reasons, that's why he thinks that the market's going to crash after the election, which I think makes perfect sense because there's not really any reason to keep voters happy anymore. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm selling calls just to, try to make some money off that, and then I'm probably going to hold some shares. Depends on how I'm going to do more research on it, but depends on how convinced I am. If Tesla stock price keeps running up and it gets to like 950 or 1,000 or the equivalent of that, I might just start selling some shares and just holding it and see what happens after the election, because it seems to me that it's very probable that this will happen. So that's my short-term thesis. That's why I'm selling calls. Am I timing correctly? I don't know, but that's what I'm doing, and that's why I lost $2,000 last week. All right. Yeah, so I didn't make a video last week because I went to Turkey, and it was a very awesome experience. Saw a lot, learned a lot. I actually had no idea where Turkey was on a map before I visited, so it was great that I went there. Now I know a lot more about it. And yeah, so real quick summary about my relationship with my wife in terms of traveling. She likes to travel a lot. Oh, I might put some pictures up. Hey, maybe I'll put some pictures while we're talking here. That way you can see how great of an editor I am, and also you can see some photos. But quick note about my wife and traveling. She likes to travel a lot. I like traveling too, but not as much as her. So she does all the planning, and I just do nothing, right? So the trade-off is I'm not allowed to complain about anything we do. But she plans everything. I go and do it with her. I can't complain about anything. And typically, I think I get the better end of that bargain because I get to enjoy everything and do none of the planning. The only downside is I have no control over what we do, and I also am not allowed to complain. And I think that's fair. So yeah, this is our trip, and with her, I've been to probably 30 countries already with her, and it's been really cool. So hopefully, maybe I'll put some pictures of that here. Maybe I won't. I don't know. But that's where I was for last week. Okay, so about the video, about this channel in particular, I've been thinking about this for the last 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and I was like, man, I have an idea of something that I can do that maybe isn't just Tesla related and would also be beneficial to my own life. So one of the problems that I have with myself personally is I'm not a person that follows through on goals, right? I just don't follow through on things I tell myself I'm going to do, and that makes me feel bad about myself. And I was like, why don't I use YouTube to help hold myself accountable on some things I like to do? So the question is, what kind of goals do I want to set for myself? As far as work goes, I've been actually hitting most of my goals at work. And also, I'm not sure if I want to share those goals, publicly, but I have some personal goals that I thought would be fun to achieve. And the reason I want to do this is because I feel like I could be a lot more productive in my life. I've been wasting a lot of time watching YouTube, if I'm completely honest with myself, and I could be spending this time just working towards something, even if it's a little bit of time, that will overall improve my life or at least make me feel better about myself and give myself some focus, okay? So here are the goals I want to try to achieve in the next, let's say, 30 to 60 days. And I figured I would just document my progress along the way and maybe help have you hold me accountable, right? Or at least if I don't do it, it'll be embarrassing. It'll be publicly embarrassing. Okay, so the first one is do the splits. And I want to do the splits because I think it'd be cool to do the splits. And I've never been very flexible, especially my hip flexors. And I also get injured a lot because I'm super inflexible, I think. So I think doing the splits would be a cool thing to do and measurable. I've been watching some videos. I think you do the splits. People have been doing the splits in 30 days, so I think that's what I'm going to shoot for. And yeah, so I think it'd be pretty straightforward. Just going to start practicing doing the splits, maybe stretch for a couple of minutes every day and slowly increase that. And yeah, so hopefully within 30 days, I'll be able to do the splits. So yeah, that's one of the things. I think that's the most important thing I want to do. That's the first one I want to be able to do. That's the most important thing out of my list of things to do. Okay, the second thing I want to do is invent a board game, and then also be able to eventually sell it for money. The reason for this is because I don't have a lot of interests or hobbies. But one thing that I am really good at is I'm really good at games. So I feel like this would be something that I could create that is actually like interesting for me to do, but also like I think I'll have an advantage on doing this than most people. And I think I would be able to make a very fun game. I think I'll be able to come up with a very fun game. And I also am somewhat interested in the process of like how do people make games and how people end up marketing them and selling them to make money. So I'm gonna work on that. I think that would be a very interesting thing to do, because of my interest and also my capabilities. Yeah, so I'm gonna do that. The third thing I'm gonna do is more of a personal goal and more just fitness. I haven't gone to the gym. I haven't worked out in a really long time, and I'm super out of shape. But one time, and I used to be in better shape, like everybody else, right? But there was one time when I was like 20 something, I like just ran up and just jumped, and I grabbed the rim of a basketball hoop and I held onto it. And that was the only time in my life where I was able to do that. The next day I went back and tried it again. I couldn't do it. So I thought it'd be interesting to try to be able to get back in shape where I can actually do this again. So my goal is to be able to grab rim and hold on to it. I could touch rim, I could go back and touch rim, but I could never like grab and just like hold on to it. So I was never able to get that high. So that's my next goal, to be able to grab rim and hold on to it. I'm probably very far from that right now. I haven't jumped and tried to grab rim any time, but I doubt I could touch the rim right now. I could probably barely touch the backboard. So I'll have to see how far along I am there. This will definitely be a longer than 30 or even 60-day thing. But the goal of this exercise is really to be able to commit to something and grow a little bit every day and get there. So that's my new thing, grab rim. Interesting story, when I was 25, I bet my friend that I could dunk by 30. And the bet was for $1,000. If I could do it, he would pay me $1,000. If I couldn't do it, I would pay him $500. And yeah, when I turned 30, I just paid him $500 because I wasn't even close. I didn't even try. So yeah. So hopefully, maybe 34-year-old Albert will be able to get a little bit closer. I don't think I'm gonna be able to dunk, but if I could grab rim and hold on to it, I would consider that a success. And then going on other things that I could work on, do a muscle up. I mean, I've done a lot of muscle ups in the past. Right now, I'm not even sure I could do a pull up. So just do a muscle up, get in shape. I have a plan for doing this. I think it would be pretty easy. What I'm most worried about is getting injured. So I'm not sure I can even do pull-ups right now, but maybe I'll start with the pull-up. Maybe I'll start with just, pulling some sort of strap or something. I don't know, but I need to be able to get into shape. So doing a muscle up, I think is a goal that I can get into. I'm not sure how realistic this is in the next 30 days, but I know I'll be able to get that for sure. And then the next one I have is the squat 315. Once again, that's something that I've done easily in the past. Right now, I don't even know if I can squat 135, but I know that I can get here if I just work at it. The one thing I'm worried about is just getting injured, which I do get injured quite a bit. I started squatting again like maybe 6 or 7 months ago, and I was like kind of getting into shape. And then like I went to Canada to visit my friend. He had a squat bar in his garage, and I was like, dude, I'm gonna stay on it. I'm gonna stay in shape. And then I used a squat bar and like I injured myself somehow, and then I pulled my back. And then we were supposed to go we went to Whistler, we were supposed to go snowboarding, and I didn't even go snowboarding. So like everyone went, I just stayed in the cabin because I hurt myself. So getting injured is like one of my biggest fears. So I think squatting 315 is probably the most I want to squat. And this might not even be a rep. I might just be a one-time thing. So I think probably repping like 275. I think you can squat 315, maybe 285. I don't know. It's been a while, but I can get back into this. So I'm gonna start squatting again. This is not high on my list of things to do, but this is my other goal. So my last goal here is to program a textware.com website. So when I was like 20 something, I made this website, which was I wrote this algorithm, quote unquote algorithm, which was really about the point of the algorithm was to calculate how long you need to wait to text this girl back, right? So if you're back when I was, I had a girlfriend at the time. I had a girlfriend at the time. Yeah, I was dating at the time. But I thought it'd be funny if you can make like an algorithm to like calculate how long to text someone back. And it was basically based on how good looking you are, how good looking she is, and how much you like her. And it would basically calculate a real. It would be like a usable algorithm on how to text someone back. And then I turned it into a website. I paid some people from India to build it, and I put it on Reddit. It went viral. Got a lot of traffic. And then like 2 years later, the host of the company that I hosted that fucking like had a flood and lost my website. So I lost that website. I also lost this blog I had about being cheap. So that shit got lost. So I figured that it'd be fun if I could try to. I had the algorithm still. I have like an Excel document. I'm gonna try to reprogram that by myself into a website. And the goal of that would be to show that I can still learn something technical, which I haven't learned anything technical in a long time. So that would be my last goal. So I kind of rank this from importance. I think, yeah, doing the splits I think would be the easiest and also most important to me in my life currently, because that would help me get less injured. Inventing a board game I think would be really fun, and then these three, physical ones I think would be important as well. And then this last one is least important to me, but also I think would be interesting because it's something kind of different. Okay, and then the last thing I want to say about this is, I don't know if you ever read this book called Atomic Habits. I read it a few years ago, and I thought it was super awesome because it made a lot of sense. So I kind of want to use this to, I guess, use this book's theory, which is if you want to build habits, you gotta build them real slowly to work on these goals. Right. So it doesn't really matter how much progress you're making per day as long as you're making a little bit of progress. And I need to develop these habits in order to work on these goals, and I'm not gonna develop them like overnight. So I'm not gonna start like just going to the gym and doing like a full workout and like expecting to do that for like 3 months straight. Realistically, because I'm gonna probably hurt myself, but also I'm probably just gonna crap out. Or I'm not gonna spend like an hour trying to learn JavaScript and then like expect to do that every day, right? So I'm gonna work up to it. And really, the thing with Atomic Habits is you can start really small, like super small. So I'm thinking about doing like maybe 1 or 2 minutes a day of stretching, maybe like work 5 minutes a day, and that's kind of where I start working on it. The only excuse I have right now, and which I think will be a legitimate excuse, is like I actually have something called psoriatic arthritis. So I do have like a lot of physical pain that just comes up, and like it'll be to the point where I can't walk or I can't like use my arms or something. So like that happens, I can't work out obviously. So that would be a legitimate excuse, but one of the things that I should be doing is I should be journaling in terms of like what I'm eating, what I'm doing, to and like how much pain I'm feeling to like basically figure out what's going on with this pain, because this pain is like it just comes out of nowhere. So that's something that I need to be doing. So I'm going to be journaling for the pain, but also journaling for what I'm doing on this goal, and I'll also be documenting on YouTube. So that's my goal for the next 30 days plus. I'm gonna invite you along for the ride. I'm not gonna be updating every day, but I'll kind of update as I go. I'm gonna start tomorrow. I'll start today a little bit, but I just got back from Turkey, so I'm kind of jet lagged still. But I'll start tomorrow, and my goal is to just work on a little bit every day, and kind of slowly build into it. So yeah, I invite you on my journey, and if I fail, feel free to laugh at me. I'll deserve it, but really, I'm just gonna put myself out there. I'll work on these things. And hopefully this will help me develop some habits where I can, develop it into more and more goals and more habits. So hope you guys found this interesting. I don't know. Please like and subscribe. And yeah, talk to you soon. Thanks.